Du plat de côte, de lard fumé,
Movies can evoke emotion and sensory memories in a number of ways. We might get a tinge of nostalgia or feelings of sympathy and ecstasy. Sound or image might remind us of something specific in our lives. Then food is also a cornerstone of life. We eat food every day, hopefully, and many gatherings and celebrations center around food. Most people have fond memories of food in some capacity through one of those gatherings or just through everyday mundane things like the association with something good and appreciable. So food movies can be extremely satisfying due to this, near universal appreciation for food and for surrounding qualities. There were more than 3 food memories, but for me, these are 3 food movies that I really connected with. First is The Taste of Things. Dodin Buffon is a chef living with his personal cook and lover, Eugenie. He wants to marry her. She doesn't really want to, so he tries to win her over with cooking. Of the 3 movies I'll talk about, this is the one with the most food. And in fact, the first 35 minutes or so is basically an extended food prep sequence with the dinner party alongside it. It goes to tremendous lengths and shows tremendous quantities of food, tremendous quality of food. The sound is phenomenal. I mentioned the associations with sound like crackling of a pan in food prep. This has plenty of that. This sounds so pleasant and satisfying. It sounds delicious. Like it's just beyond satisfying. It's like you're there in the kitchen. It's almost like you can taste what's happening. You normally expect, something like a war movie to be like a good sound movie, something you need to watch in a good sound environment. But this is a great sound movie. The crispness, the tactility of that sound enhances the experience so much. Food is heavily featured, but again, food is part of life. Food connects to life. And this film connects food and culinary appreciation to general art appreciation, beauty appreciation. There is plenty of artistic talk. Buffon uses non-culinary language and comparisons when he's talking about food in some sequences, like after the first dinner party. And to me, scenes like that and some other stuff later in the film feels like it's connecting food with general beauty, life itself in like this holistic human sort of way that I think is really lovely. It connects the human form as well to its discussion of beauty with a couple of scenes, sometimes subtly, some kind of hilariously, bluntly. But it uses that element, that universal element of beauty to channel something deeply human into the film that is even just beyond the food prep, something that I enjoy. So if you're looking for just food porn, this is, I think, as good as you're going to get. Certainly the most you're going to get. So far. I haven't watched every food movie, but the next one is Babette's Feast. This is a film about Babette, who is a French housekeeper. She comes to this Danish village in the 19th century, and we learn about her background. We see some conflict with her and the villagers that she attempts to peacefully and deliciously resolve. Like The Taste of Things, there is some high-quality, mouth-watering food in this film. However, it is mostly confined to one particular section of the film. The most time is spent on the character study of not just Babette, but also the village that she finds herself in. This film is uniquely warm and comforting and peaceful. I'd liken it to sitting on the couch, with a blanket, where just the longer you sit with it, the more comfortable, the more warm you get. It kind of seeps through you as, your body heat warms up the blanket and it warms you in return. And I think this film also, it's gentle, it's welcoming. You sit with it and it kind of like thaws you out, as it does to the people in the village, I think. The film is slow, but you don't feel distanced from the world or from the characters. There's no direct, harsh conflict. There are some kind of saddening things referenced, not shown explicitly, like in terms of war specifically. Characters are gentle. The village is a character in and of itself. There are interesting, conflicts. Like I said, nothing overt. Kind of personal worldview conflicts that happen that Babette tries to work through the magic of French cuisine. When the cooking gets started, I think it's just as good as The Taste of Things. Again, there's a similar long preparation sequence. There is great detail in the sound design. It's again, sounds delicious. Everything sounds so satisfying. The food preparation steps, seeing the actual finished product. There's just something so satisfying, I think, to watching someone like Babette do her job, be so good in her case at food preparation. But, this really applies to anything. It's so satisfying to just watch her do this, to hear the sounds that you associate with a good meal. Everything works together and with this warmth, and you see the way that it affects the people she's serving. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie. Third one is Boiling Point. A head chef balances multiple personal and professional crises at a popular restaurant in London. So this one's kind of a bait and switch. This one isn't a food movie in the same way. This is a film which revolves around a restaurant, it revolves around a kitchen and the all of the employees, the bar staff, the wait staff, everyone. But this is not like a food porn movie. This is there is food, undoubtedly. There is food preparation going on. But this is a skill movie. It is a movie about this particular corner of the culinary world. It is about some of the trials and tribulations that come along with it. While we're in here, you see different kitchen dynamics between the parts of the staff. You see personal issues, interpersonal issues, customer relations issues, all these sorts of things that affect the product. And at least to me, it kind of feels like an almost existential fear of not being good at something, being unable to handle pressure, unable to handle, tribulations that come along. Because for them, this is work. It is an extremely stressful environment. It's an extremely stressful movie, but it is work. It is what they signed up for, especially the main character having trouble dealing with it. That is certainly something I'm afraid of, not being good at what I do. So it hits hard for me. The tension is consistent throughout. It's very strong, inescapable. The film does still have dynamics. It is not like all gas all the time. There are moments where, we will break off to see kind of like a less dynamic version of someone having a crisis still. But everyone is struggling in this movie. Everyone is trying to make it work with the particular circumstances that pop up. Most of all, the main character, but we follow the difficulties of a number of different employees at different points. Also, one last selling point, this film is one shot. It is 90 minutes, I think, maybe 90 something, all one shot. It's extremely impressive, really, how coordinated it is. I'd be really curious to see some behind the scenes about how they coordinated everything because, like I said, the camera breaks off to show different characters, right? So we'll get scenes to change the dynamic where we will follow, like, for instance, a character into the bathroom to kind of see them, like, take a phone call, cope, try to calm down. Then they go back out into the melee. And then, we have a chance to switch between other people. A lot going on, a lot to cover, but the fact that it's all one shot to me communicates like this focus, like this inability to leave the situation that the characters are in, which they can't, of course, because they're working. It's their job, their livelihood. But it's impressive to me, not just how stressful the movie is, but also how it manages to put in, dynamic shifts and lulls, peaks and valleys into the film and not show, a lack of restraint, because you might be able to get away with all gas, no brakes for maybe an hour, something like that. But once you start getting like a feature-length film, you need to have some dynamics, Even a movie like Wreck, which features some long scenes, some very long scenes, and is very intense, goes very hard, still has a couple of lulls in it. You need some lulls. Even a movie is intense in this. And I think they do a great job orchestrating that, even within the bounds of being one shot. So this is not the satisfying food-centric movie, but it is a food-centric movie, which I love. It's my favorite of these three. Extremely effective. Recommend it a lot.